going on, everybody? Happy New Year. Welcome to the first episode of Props to Consider, and then maybe bet for 2023. I am your host, Lou Betya. None of you are here for me for this episode. I know that. You know that. So I'm not going to waste any more time. One of my favorite people in the Twitter space and a fellow Philly guy. You may know him from his great food posts, or you may know him for only writing in capital letters. Ladies and gentlemen, my man, Bobby Glanz, a.k.a. Mushroom. Brother, welcome to the internet. How you doing, my man?
Hey, I love being on the internet, Lou. I love the opportunity. Absolutely appreciate this. Everybody out there with those fucking over 350-pound tickets can stick them up your ass. I'm about 200 fucking pounds. You know what I'm saying?
I am not going to. I didn't tell you this before the show, but I had a bet on this with Brady, and I want you to know that I had the under.
Nice.
I want to let you know.
Nice.
I want to let you know.
Nice.
I actually
I'm
said
200 pounds. I'm 5'7", 200 pounds.
I actually said you could have been like Kobayashi, like the Japanese guy that eats all that eats like tons, and he's like 100 pounds. I'm like, dude, that wouldn't shock me. So before we get started with the props, if you're watching this, guys, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to MMA Engine channel. It does help us out. One thing about Mushroom that doesn't get brought up on Twitter a lot that I think is important is he is one of the most supportive guys in the community for all of us to create content. He's in the chats. He's always yelling and screaming. He knows that I hate when he says round 3 or decision. I swear he does it just to bug me. No, he knows I don't care. But aside from that, Mushroom, tell us first, why did you start posting the food pics? Like, what kind of like sparked that for you? Because now it's like taken off where literally we're waiting for you to post your food pics like every day. And in my case, I know a lot of these places you're going to, so I'm like, oh damn, I gotta take a trip.
Yeah, you can tell me, Lou. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I should tell your pics.
So how that started was, listen, I love to eat. I'm making all this MMA money, all this extra MMA money. I have a decent job to begin with, so a decent money. So I'm like, look, I like to eat. I've always been kind of skinny, so I've always been the guy that could eat. Like I remember being in the bar one time, ate 140 chicken wings. You know what I'm saying? Dude. In like about an hour and a half period. So I've always had this big appetite, but a good metabolism to really keep it off me. And I figured, man, look at the way this lunch is. I eat like a king. Maybe I should share it with some other people. So that's how that started. And it's got a huge following. I get new followers every time I'll put another picture out of some food. I get a couple new followers, man. People love that shit.
I think your responses to people that like don't understand that are pretty funny too. Like you really you're like a comedian. Like just you're giving it right back to the hecklers.
Well, that's what it is. You know, I was like the one fitness line I use. I said, "Oh, so you're in the fitness dick in your mouth," you know, and then they usually leave you alone and stuff like that. So,
so another thing I wanted to bring up this is what we talked about before the show. So, most people, and obviously, like most people in this space are in their 20s, early 30s. You and I are relics, let's say. We're a little older in the space, but you're one of the few. You take it a step further. You don't even bet online. I know you look at lines online, like with Bet Rivers.
I know.
But you prefer. Well, it used to be called the Sugar House. It's now just Bet Rivers now, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I think that's awesome. So I know you don't get the same lines that, like. I know in DraftKings, like I bet like the split decision props and stuff like that. I know you don't get that, but
I can't get those yet. They'll be there though because they aren't amping up the different kind of props they have at Rivers. So you know, I'm old school. Lou. I'm like you. I'm old school. I like.
Have you ever been to Parks? Did you ever?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I like that they have like the sports book divided for like the pokers in one building, and then you got like the sports book in the other. Mm-hmm. I mean, I assume you were there when it was the Philly racetrack, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to go to the racetrack years ago, or off-track betting and all that stuff. So I did all that for years. Absolutely.
That was an awesome little place. But without further ado, you're here for MMA. You're here to break down some props. You're here to consider some props and then maybe bet them. And so why don't we start? What's the first prop that you have that you found on this board?
Okay. Well, let me show my age and put my glasses on there. I'm going to go kind of Tim Troiano style on this one. I kind of really like the split decision for Vieira. It's a plus 700 play. It's decent. Look, this fight's probably going to decision, 9 out of 10 times. I have my notes old school. You can hear my paper flipping as I'm going through. She's going to land the better strikes. She kind of marches forward. She's got good trips. She's good on top, fundamentally sound. Pennington can steal a round or something like that and maybe get one judge to give her, something. So I'm really looking at the splits on this fight. So I do like Vieira by split decision. That's my first prop.
I love it. And I have, just so you know, written down, I have, like Tim and I like to do.
I wrote everything down.
We have all three. So typically, if I'm going to do that, I take all three sides of it. I take the fight to end and split, Vieira by split, Pennington by split.
Right.
I have that as one of my props.
Like it.
I actually would favor, now, strangely enough, I'm going to play all of them, so I don't care. For your sake, I'm rooting for Vieira.
Like it.
But the whole reason that I love the split is that Vieira, to your point, she fights such a style that's the judges kind of don't love it. And Pennington can land a few shots every round and almost swing these rounds. Like I'm with you in a fight that I don't think a lot's going to happen. That's going to decision 95 out of 100 times.
Yeah, they both have relatively good takedown defense, too, which makes me think it's going to be pretty much on the feet striking, so I don't worry about subs or anything like that. These are knockout girls, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to decision.
Yeah, and Vieira doesn't really, despite that she doesn't really utilize her takedowns as much. Right. I think Pennington can stop. So I'm with you. I see it being on the feet. I love the pick.
Thanks.
All right, you know what? I'm having a good time. Let's go to my lowest one that I have here. And this one I kind of hate, because I like the guy I'm betting against. I like rooting for Damon Jackson, but okay. I'm on the Dan Ige side for this fight. I have him by KO at plus 300. I also have him by round 3 KO at plus 1600.
Okay.
Look, this is a tricky fight for me, but it really comes down to this. Ige is so durable, and we've seen him been taken down. He's really good at staying out of getting into real bad spots on the ground. He can get controlled, but doesn't get hurt too bad. Damon Jackson's great at controlling people on the ground without doing a ton of damage. We've also seen he's got some cardio issues where Dan Ige does not have cardio issues at all. And also, this is a pretty big step down for Ige in terms of competition. Ige's facing the killers. So
that's right.
I got to be honest, and I talked to Brady with this because, I looked this line at first. My first pre-tape was like, oh, Jackson's going to control him on the ground for probably 15 minutes and get a nice decision win. And then I did some tape, and then I talked. Brady and I are talking it out, and Brady's like, "Man, Ige is one of my best plays on the board. Like he loves it." And him and I start talking, and I start looking, as I'm watching the tape, and I'm like, "Man, I even think Ige can stop some of these takedowns. I think Jackson probably wins the first round, and if he does, I'll add to my position on Ige as a live bet. He'll probably be like plus 200 at that point. I'd like it, but." Ige to win by KO and KO 3 at plus 1600. FanDuel doesn't have these up yet. But you mentioned Tim Troiano before. So Tim I know likes the round 2, round 3 combos.
Yeah.
DraftKings doesn't have those, but FanDuel
I can get those either. I can get 1 and 2 and then 3/decision, but I can't combine the 2 and 3.
Right. FanDuel's the only book that I know that has those, but I'd consider it, if you have FanDuel and you're watching this, I'd consider it 2-3 because I really think Jackson's going to get the first round with a lot of control time. But I'm on the Ige side. That's what I got. What is the next prop that you have for us? Because you stole my Vieira one, so I got.
Just to get you got me back on that because I had Ige by KO, but I had Ige by KO in round 2.
Okay, round 2, round 3. There we go.
Right, he's going to finish. I think he's going to finish. Listen, Jackson, can try to wrestle, but I think he could wrestle himself to gas himself out. And I think he's very vulnerable. Now, your round 3 is looking better now. Even though I just said that out loud, your round 3 is looking even better now that I think about it. If Ige mixes in some wrestling, he can tire Jackson out. Jackson tried to wrestle. Ige can tire him out. Man, I'm liking round 3, Lou. I think I'm going to tell you on that for sure.
Can I ask you, is there a part of us that might be biased because Jackson knocked out Philly's own Pat Sabatini last night? Is that possible here?
Of course that might have a little bit to do with it. But the reality is, like you said, Ige's fought killers. I mean, his resume compared to this guy's resume, they're 2 different worlds.
Absolutely. All right, what do you got for us next?
Okay, so I like Charles Johnson. I'm going to give another round 2, Charles Johnson. And here's the thing. I watched him fight. Look, his cardio's for days. Now he's a slow starter too. That's why I like the round two. But what I don't like about Flick is Flick just shows up and he lets the guy. If the guy's going to throw 2 punches or 20 punches, he's just going to stay showed up until the guy's finished. I mean, he does that with Jackson. Jackson hits him in his body a couple times. He lowers his hand. I can just see it. Boom. Right on the chin. Drop him right down. Round two. Round two, Charles Johnson.
Well, I know it's plus 500 because I have that one written down as well. Round two. I love it. By the way, him and I did not talk about.
No,
I never discussed what the other person has. I'm with you. I'll just add to what he said. I think that if Flick's going to win this fight, it's going to be in the first round. I mean, you go back.
I think that's his only win condition. Yeah.
But if you go back to even the Durden fight, he was getting his ass kicked until he wasn't. Charles Johnson's kind of a slow starter too. He lost the first round against Zalgas. But like on top of that, I know he got taken down 12 times by Makayev.
Yeah, but you're right. That guy's going to pick you up and slam you. You know what I'm saying? Who's not going to get taken down by him? So,
but he also didn't sustain any
damage. Well, look, if you're getting taken down 12 times, right? If you got taken down 12 times, you didn't get submitted, and that means you kept getting back up. By the way, you know, because there's only 3 rounds. It's not you got taken down once; it got held down the whole round. You know, you're getting up 12 times. So,
and I can see Flick. I see Flick having some success in the first. Maybe, but Johnson's takedown defense it's again, take the Makayev fight out as a little bit of an outlier.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You take that fight out. It's pretty good. Yep.
But he's pretty solid. So, dude, I mean, I'm right there with you. Man, you're taking like, all right, let me move to my next prop. I'm running out. So I'm going to say this right now. This is more of a numbers play than what I actually think will happen in the fight, but I'm going to take Hernandez's decision at plus 550.
Okay.
I don't love this one, but my reasoning is Nascimento, to me, he doesn't fight the most friendly fight for the style for the judges. He gets takedowns and he doesn't throw a lot of strikes. In fact, I'm going to pull up the stats here. I had this up earlier.
Yeah, and these judges are not going for that light and pray bullshit no more. They're really not. If you're not doing damage on the ground, they're not going to give you much on that.
So Jake Hadley, he threw 19 strikes in a decision win. The Tajir fight where he lost a split decision, which was actually a pretty close fight. I don't think it should have been a split, but he was competitive. He threw 25 strikes. The Halian Paiva fight, he threw 105 in the Contender Series and he lost. But that was mostly on the feet. I don't think this is going to play out on the feet. I think it's going to play on the ground. No. I think he's going for top position. I think he's going to. But Hernandez is kind of, from everything I've seen of his tape, he's not great anywhere, but he's not bad anywhere. And I think he'll be able to stay out of trouble on the ground. He might get some reversals. He may be able to keep the fight standing. He does have a little bit of a reach disadvantage, but it's not huge. If it stays on the feet, I like him winning minutes there. If it hits the ground and you just get controlled, it's problematic. But I see this fight being pretty close, and I think Hernandez can win. I think he can win a unanimous decision. That's why I'm kind of avoiding the splits here. Nascimento just doesn't do enough for me to ever back him, and this number's bananas. The minus 350 or whatever it is now is crazy for him against a guy who's pretty durable and has decent takedown defense. So I'm going to take the poke on Hernandez's decision, and
I like it.
What do you got for us next? I'm going to dig for one more here that I like.
I'm going to go a round 3 special that I've been looking at for Lou Betya. I actually like Kopylov in round 3. And you get Kopylov KO round 3. That pays even nicer. I'm sure I got the note that we're missing. He just got to weather the storm. This is the way I'm looking at it. Weather that storm. You know, he's got fast hands. He's got clean 1-2s. You know, he's a sambo master. You know, listen, and Soriano starts to fade. You know, round 1, 1.5, you can see he's fading. Kopylov is going to put him on. He's going to clip him in the chin probably halfway through round 3. I like that. KO round 3 for Kopylov.
So I'm on the other side of this one. I like Puna, but I like your rationale is sound. The reason I like Puna here is my problem with Kopylov is he gets in so much trouble early in fights. And this is not
that's why I said he has to weather that storm. If he can weather that storm, that's the key to it. So it's Soriano early, or it's going to be Kopylov late. I don't think this fight's going. It's not going to go to distance. So, but I
No,
think it's not binary. I think it's going to be either Soriano first round or second or third could be Kopilov. So that's what I'm looking at as well.
he might be. I mean, he's an interesting live bet spot too. If you start, because I don't think Puna has 15 minutes of cardio. I think he has 7, 8 minutes
No.
of cardio.
Yeah, that's what I'm at. That's first round and a half. After that, that's it.
So since you took some of my plays, I want to talk about one that I'm not betting, but I'm gonna tell you my betting strategy for it. For whatever reason, I just love me some Priscilla Cachoeira. I just like her.
I got her as a round 3 prop as well, Lou.
And it's 10-1.
You can't beat that.
Well,
they know what's up. That's why it's so low. But I'll take it. Give me 10 times my fucking money for something I'm pretty sure is going to happen.
So I haven't gotten to it yet, and I think this line's crazy to begin with because it seems like everybody's just expecting Eubanks is going to go in there and dominate with takedowns. I do think she's going to win the first round. I think she's going to get a takedown controller. So to me, instead of betting Cachoeira or anybody pre-fight, I'm going to take Cachoeira live after round 1. Probably going to get plus 450 on her.
Right.
Maybe better depending on how dominant. I mean, if Sarge 10-8s her, you might get plus 600 on her. And to me, I love it because then you're not even worried. You don't even need the knockout at that point. You could have 2 rounds of Cachoeira just battering her, and you don't have to worry about the finish. I do think it ends in round 3. I like the time props here. And it's and of note, this is at 125. Originally, it said it was 135. Sarge has had a problem going back to tough years, cutting down to 125.
Well, Cachoeira had problems too with weight cuts. They both got to have problems, but I think Eubanks will have she's going to have more of a problem with the weight cut. That's what I wouldn't be
surprised if they agree to have this fight at 130 on Friday. Like if they both miss weight and they're like, fuck it, 130 is fine.
Right, I like that.
All right, what do you got next? Because I am now out of props, so the floor is yours except for the Yam Bags play.
Okay, so I like Sean Strickland round 4. I see what these last couple guys been doing in the Imamov. They drag him late. The guy's looking up at the clock. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. Listen, Strickland's not going to go away. I don't give a fuck. The guy just won a month ago. This dude is crazy. This dude loves to fight. He's going to be in there to fight. And I think he's going to want to finish. I think, as many times he's got kicked and punched by Cannonier, I think he's going to let some of that out. And I'm telling you, I think Imamov, people say, don't worry about the gas tank bullshit. This is 5 fucking rounds. All right? If it was a 3-round fight, maybe I'd lean Imamov. I think if it gets to that 4th, and I'm going to play both 4th and 5th, I think it's Strickland all day. So I'm going Strickland. Round 4 is my official pick, but I'm going to play round 5 as well.
I see 2,800 and plus 4,000 for round
4.
Love
it. Come on. You can't go wrong. Take 20 or $20, $25. Come on.
So Strickland is another one I'm going to live bet. And also in terms of, for those of you that watch the show that do like DraftKings lineups, I'm going to be playing him at his salary, 7,700 in the main event. I feel like I have to. I'm with you. And, there's 2 things that I like about this for you. You were talking about like how tired he gets. He was running away from Buckley. Like he was like legit looking at the clock running away.
You're right. 100%. Why don't that time go off? 100%. Yep.
Now look, he's been training for a 5-round fight. I do expect his cardio to be better. But Strickland puts on a crazy, crazy pace. And he was training for Gastelum, who's shorter.
Right. This is a way worse fight for Imamov. This is a way worse fight for him.
He was training for a completely different style of opponent. And Strickland is like one of those. All right, I got to be careful what the term I don't want to use here, but it involves having. Let's say it rhymes with like metard strength. I feel like Strickland has like metard cardio, where like it doesn't matter if he's not in camp. The dude he's wired. His brain doesn't register that he's tired. He's very active late in fights. The only problem I have with him, and hopefully it won't be in the case here, like the Hermanson fight, some of the other fights he's in main events where he just lacks the sense of urgency in the last couple of rounds. I'm hoping that because he's coming off, and I don't want to call it a robbery against, it was close against Cannonier. Like whoever you bet, I see it either way. But coming off a loss where he felt like he probably could have done more to secure the win, I'm hoping that's the mentality here. And I'm hoping that as this fight goes on, that the urgency is there for him.
And leave the judges out of it. Leave the judges out of it. Maybe he gets that in his mind is what I'm hoping. So,
yeah. All right. So what other props do you have? Because some of these fights that like, it's hard for me to get to like a prop with Umar unless you want to play a decision. I'm like a big Basharat guy.
I got Basharat. I got Basharat round 2. I like that play as well.
Sub or just to win?
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to go specific. I can already get him in round 2 for 5 times my money. Why not just do that? I'm good with that. You know?
I like him a lot. I think he has a super high ceiling.
Yeah, it's a shame they're putting this other guy against them too with the no record. It's a shame one of them has to fall. Like they're both pretty good prospects. I think they should have put them against each other right now. This is a probably good fight once they build up. You have this fight 2-3 years from now. But hey, somebody's going to lose their own. Hopefully, it's not my guy. So I like that.
I think Basharat's got an immense edge on the ground.
Yeah,
he's got a humongous edge if he wants to take this thing to the ground. On the feet, I do think he's the slicker boxer. He moves better. His lateral movement's better. Mendonca's more like just go forward and throw a ton. But I think Basharat's really good counter boxer too and can kind of snipe him. So I'd love him to get the finish. I'm probably going to stay off this fight. But I'm rooting for Basharat, and I'm definitely rooting for the round 2 at this point because I just want him to win. I love him because I think his ceiling is huge. So I'd like to see how far he can go. When he won in the Contender Series against that guy Oren Kalin, it was calling him a terrorist and then missed weight.
Yeah.
Like Basharat, the only reason Basharat got a round 3 finish is because he just like abused him for 15 minutes. It was my favorite fight of that season.
Played with his food. Yeah, he just played with his food. Yup.
The only fight I like better on that season was when Johnny Parsons won, because I have been annoying Wheezy about that for like a year and a half, and I'm still getting mileage out of this joke. And I know it like drives him like fucking insane because I'll pull it out of nowhere in meetings, and he's like, "God damn, you didn't win that fight, Lou. You know he didn't win that." I'm like, "Well, my bet slip says he won, so I mean, I guess he won."
I guess your bet slip's all that matters. That's what would matter for me. Unless I was on the other end of it, then I have something to say.
As Dusty Rhodes used to say, it took me to the pay window. That's all I care about is getting to the pay window.
I'm good with that as well. It's not how you play the game. It's if you win or lose. I like it like that.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's right.
I believe they say. What else you got for us?
Well, I want you to do your yang bag because I have a yang bag as well. Let's
right. So if anybody watching the show for the first time, number one, shame on you. You should be watching every week. If it is the first time you're watching the show, the Yam Bag bet is a point deduction. They're available on DraftKings and Betway. I don't know if any other books offer them, but I know those two do. You're betting a point deduction. It is 20-1, no matter what the fight is, except for one time ever, which was when Greg Hardy lost to Tabura, and he just ran out of time to cheat. But that's the only time I've ever seen it not 20-1. But in general, it's 20-1. So I can't believe I'm starting the year out like this. But fight number 1 of the card is my clam bag special. It's Priscilla Cachoeira. I mean, literally, the whole bet is because of her. She against Robertson, she just has no problem. She was like trying to rake her eyes when she was on the ground. She has no problem grabbing the cage. She keeps her fingers out when she throws punches. She's literally everything you want in somebody that can get a foul. And I don't have any insider knowledge. This is just me posturing here. But the last couple of months of UFC cards, there were a fuckload of cage grabs that were just like soft warning.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you're right.
Now, I know the
I don't say them.
Now, the judges, and look, even like Blagoy when he beat DeLima, and I had Blagoy, and I'm like, I didn't win this one. He grabbed the cage. He grabbed over the cage with like a minute and a half. He grabbed over the top of it, and they're like, no, he's fine. So, like, DeLima even looked at the ref like, are you, what? Like, his hand was on the outside of the cage, and he ended up winning, like, it was like the worst. And I'm like, all right, I won that one. I didn't feel good about that win, but I'll take it. But I'm wondering if because we saw this, that the refs are like, maybe they're telling these refs, like, look, man, this has to be enforced. Like, maybe you have to enforce this more, no more soft warnings, whatever. So I'm hoping that this is the year of the Yam Bag with the cage grabs. And so maybe they send a message, fight 1. I don't know, but
wow, that'd be great. I've been loving for you, Lou. I hope so, man.
I mean, catchware is like an auto Yambag bet. Do you know that we've only had one fight ever, to my knowledge, where there was a point deduction in the first round of the first fight? Do you know what it is? It was last year. It was last year. If you can, do you want a hint?
Go ahead.
It also ended in the first by disqualification.
Go ahead. You're gonna test my pothead memory. You got me, Lou. What is it?
It was Dean Barry against Mike Jackson when he raked his eyes like 3 times, and then he crushed him in the nuts so bad that Mike Jackson rolling around the ground was like, my fucking dick.
Okay, now I remember. Yes, absolutely.
And I had the point, and I had a shot on Jackson there because I'm like, I mean, I had like, when I say I had a shot on Jackson, I had like a $5 bet just to be like, you know what, I want to have something on this. I'll bet this is such a stupid line, and then, you know, I didn't expect to win by DQ, but
right. I'll take it.
So what do you got for your? What's your? I need to know mushrooms, and also you know that I'm putting money on this for you. And
Okay.
you win money, like it's basically like your appearance fee. I'm paying. This is your appearance fee. I'm betting on the Yam.
Okay. Look, I'll tell you what. If I win it, I want you to donate it to the Red Cross for Tajik Bay, because I want to give him a shout out to my guy Tajik Bay, if that's all right. Guy helps me a lot. He's not a big fan of mine. He's great for the MMA community. He's a great supporter. Dude really helps me out a lot too. So I just want to give him a shout out. That's all.
I can guarantee he will not be watching the show. I can guarantee.
Oh, of course not. I'll tweet it to him. You can clip it and send it to him. Here's my yam bag. I'm going to go with one of, you know what? I used part of your formula. Southpaw versus Orthodox. There weren't many on this card. So I went with Rebecca versus Fiore. It's got one of the main ingredients of a yam bag in it. Let's have it. Somebody's leg just missed a little bit and get that yam, and let's get some tickets, Lou.
It's also, I also like this kind of bet when you have such a disparity in talent, because the underdog is going to have to just get weird and drafty. So, hey man, I'm for it. So there you go. The yam bag special. Rebecca and Fiore. I'm not going to recap all the bets. Please go back and watch the video if you're at this point. But I will say that we were both exactly aligned on the Vieira Pennington split decision. Mushroom specifically on the Vieira end of it. But I love that fight to end in split. And we both had Johnson round 2 KO. We both had those exact. We are sharing those. That is all for this first episode of the year.
Awesome.
For the bet. Mushroom.
Yes, sir.
People. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them what you're up to. Tell a joke. The floor is yours. You can do what you want. Advertise something.
First thing I want to do is just thank you, Lou. I really appreciate the opportunity. This is great. I've been in the MMA community and everybody's chats for years. I try to support everybody every way I can. Try not to bring any negativity or hate. You bring it to me, you're going to get it double. So don't bring it to me. But this is the best fucking sport on the planet, and I'll be honest with you. I tried watching this fucking like 20 years ago, and it was 2 matches in a row that were nothing but crap on ice. Everybody tells me there's supposed to be all this blood, so I didn't watch it. And about 6 years ago, it was on TV again, or it was something like ESPN, and I watched it, and I said, man, I'm fucking missing this fucking sport, and I've dropped every other sport as my main sport to bet on ever since.
Wow.
I've been all about MMA. Love the UFC. Great community. All these people in the chat, I can name a million of them, so I don't want to name one because I have to name all of them. But you guys all know who you are. You're out there every week. Again, Lou, I just appreciate the opportunity. Hope I can work with you again. Hope I did well for you in your first show of the fucking year.
I think you did great, and this will not be the last time. This will not be the last time that.
Listen, we're local. We're local, man. I'm telling you, I'll come pick you up in the caddy. We'll go to the strip club, do it from there, whatever. We can figure this shit out in the future. I promise you.
You had me at caddy, but I like the rest of it as well.
Awesome.
I'm like 25 minutes away, whatever. No, I thought you did great. Also, I mean, like, I'm also appreciative that you didn't say "Go Birds" at any point during this broadcast.
I don't need to. They're going to do it themselves, Lou. They're going to talk themselves.
Man, this is so miserable for me. Being a Giants fan, living in Philly is.
Yeah, it is horrible,
brutal, man.
We got a guy that bugs Dallas at my work, so don't worry. He gets it.
No, at least I'm from. Well, I grew up in New York. At least I got a reason to like the Giants.
There you go. No, he's from Philly, so.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I got a buddy, Jamie, who's like that. And it's like, he's like, well, my dad liked him. It's like, yeah, but dude, you're like 50. Like, you had time to, like, you can't think for yourself. Come on, bro. Like, he's like, well, you know, the Eagles weren't like a thing back when I was like, well, so, like.
Right. Bandwagon jumpers.
Hey, man, I got friends who are Pirates fans. They're like, dude, my life sucks. Like, I know. The Pirates are the fucking worst.
Oh, yeah.
But they're loyal. They're loyal to the team. And I'm like, I respect that. I wish that team put money into it, but whatever. But
nice.
Thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome.
If you're watching this and you're not following Mushroom on Twitter, honestly, like, he's one of the funniest people and he's one of the nicest guys. But
thanks.
Yeah, you're missing out, guys. If you're not following him. So good luck on your bets. Good luck on your bets.
I hope I hope all our bets hit, Lou. Let's make some money. 2023 is going to be a good year for all of us, guys. I promise you. And you're one of the good ones, Lou. I like you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
As my old South Philly bookie used to say, we got to root him in. Root him in. Root him in. Guys, take care. Good luck on your bets. And thank you for tuning in. God bless.
Have a good one. Thanks, Lou.